Hello, people. So ignore my hair and ignore that call and yelling out. But I'm have to adapt and try to record as much as I can now. It's been months since I lost my laptop, and so now I'm just gonna record on my phone. Right now, I'm just gonna record the blogs because I just want to get rid of the phone so I could replace my phone because this screen is cracked. It's no longer 2005 nor May, but I'm just gonna go with it because I made these notes and I just wanted to share. So here's my progress. Um, so this is a picking up from the interview. I had an interview with insurances. I did like one or two. I decided not to seek those anymore because a lot of those have to do with pushing, and I'm not really good with that, like selling, especially if I don't believe in the product myself. And trust me, when it comes to insurance, I don't fully believe in the product, so I'm not good at that. So I was like, you know what, pass. Plus, sometimes they show that I have to do door to door. No, pass, hard pass. Anyway, then my family went to go pick up the furniture in Florida, and so I had the house to myself, and therefore I had to take care of my mother's plants as well as two cats. We had Chloe at the time, along with Mister, and so now I had to go. Okay, so it may be better if I recharge this. I mean, continue recording this, not charge. Recording this on during the day, but whatever. So I'm just trying to get this through. So where I left off to is when my family went out. And the thing is, when my family went out, I was alone, so I had to take care of like my mother's plants and the two cats. The two cats was easy to take care of, even though one was like really active. There we go. That's the word. She was really active. And I say past tense because, well, spoiler is for later on. Um, we couldn't continue taking care of her for reasons, but I'll talk about that later. Taking care of my mother plants is one thing because I don't have a green thumb. So, but thank God that she gave me an easy job to do. Like all I had to do was water it. Most of it has to take care of itself, so I didn't have to do much. But that's it. I did try to bake bread and I ruined it. It's been a long time since I make bread since I've been since Japan. Naturally, I don't really bake or cook as much. Especially after my father. So I cook even less now, but that's digress. I digress. But I didn't cook much even then, but I cooked for myself. And I tried to bake basically, and I ruined the bread. Not only just ruined it, but I also burnt one of the towels. Used to try to take out the bread. So great time. Okay, so I also tried to work on the ink illustration. Spoilers, I didn't finish it, but I was working on it at the time. I was working on it, finally went back to it, started working on it, and I also was trying to work on Necromancy Love Story. I did kind of, before the family came back, I did work on it. I went from chapter 6. I finished chapter 6 and started chapter 7. I didn't complete the story in total, but I was hoping to finish it sooner. Didn't. I think I didn't want to write that much chapters in the first place, but it was a struggle. Well, so I also struggle because I keep falling asleep while writing and working on it. A little spoilers for the future. I still do that. But I digress. And I am trying to figure out where my camera is, but every time I look this way, it looks like I'm looking off on the side when I'm trying to look into the camera, but I whatever. That being said, because I also hate myself, I besides working on Necromancy Love Story, I also work on other projects. And I still do. I just can't work on one project. I had to work on several, or at least a couple, a few. In this case, I worked on 5. So yeah, and then on Saturday, the family came back. And then still within that same weekend, the shoe company that I was trying to do my own custom shoe with, gave me the ultimatum that I had to hurry up and finish, and so I had to rush my logo. I hate it. I hate how it came out. I definitely want to do that over again. But I digress. I got the shoe done. I did not purchase the shoe, but I like how the design I worked on came out. But again, I never purchased it. I just put it on a like list to be eventually purchased later. And it was a whole thing about, well, I don't believe that I will make money out of purchasing and purchasing a shoe. I It's similar to what I did of other projects before, but I just like the idea of having my own custom shoe. So yeah, I just want to do the logo over again. But that aside, what was I talking about? Oh, and then the Saturday my family came back. This was before the truck came back, so because before the truck came back and my mother came, we had to clear out the garage so she could move the new stuff in. So there was a lot of trashing, a lot of moving around. And although I got no work done that day because it was so busy, took over the whole day, I was able to find though found a lot of things I was missing or couldn't find, and also other things that I needed. Like for example, I was gonna buy these crates, so when I do eventually do conventions again, I have these crates already set up. I forgot what it's called, but it's like you could assemble it to make a box, or you can make it like a stand or something like that. So you could like put things in it, like my books, or I could like post up my illustrations onto it, that kind of thing with the zip line. I don't know what it's called, but yeah. Is it called a zip line? Not a zip line. The little plastic thingies. But anyway, I digress. But so I was able to get that. I was able to find many things I was missing, like my jewelry box. I couldn't for the life of me find my jewelry box. I didn't know where I put it. Um, the one thing I couldn't find was my diploma. Crazy. But there's also clothes I didn't even know I had, which I found. That being said, got nothing done. And then Friday, it was around the time. Let me see what Friday was. Friday was also not a good working day for me in terms of my projects. I was also working, helping my mother move things around the garage. Friday and Saturday apparently. Um, oh yeah, it was both days. It was Friday and Saturday. I skipped Friday, but on Friday, my what was a big issue was just my Libby app. It wasn't working because I was doing working or listening to wanting to listen to Libby while I worked. I initially downloaded Libby just only on my tablet. So because it was working on my tablet, I had downloaded on my phone. And just in case I as a backup, I used my mother's iPad. But I was able to get it working on my iPad eventually. But I was like, well, I already have my phone, and plus, it helps here on listening to audiobooks while I'm working instead of just music. It gives me more motivation and inspiration, just so on and so forth. And it's a nice way of passing the time, especially when like doing mediocre work where it's like really repetitive. Just listening to the app is really nice. So it was like after this, I wanted to hurry up and complete the Necromancy love story, but it wasn't going as well as I was expecting. It was like I was still writing it. And I was like, I just wanted, and as I said, I was like after I was up to chapter 7, so it was still continuing after that. And I was like, okay, I need to wrap this up. Let's come up with a conclusion. Let's end it. On top of that, I was also working on other stories, and one of the stories I'm working on takes place in another world. It's like an isekai story where it was a kid who was in one world and transported to another. But because I didn't have a full map of that world yet, I was like, okay, let's put this back on the back burner. So I didn't fully scrap it, but I just put it on the back burner. Unlike Mad Kill and Bale graphic novel I was working on, I completely scrapped that one. That one was like it was getting too complicated because I'm doing a story within a story, and the timelines need to match up. And I think I was doing too much. So I was like, no, let's scrap this one. Let's just concentrate on the main story. And then the reason why I even started doing that was because I wanted to build a relationship between Bale and Michael in my mind. But after a while, it remitted anyway. So I was like, no, I have to scrap this. I don't really need to make this story, like publish it for everyone else. It's just for me anyway. So I was fine scrapping it. Okay, well then now it's this other week, and the following week it was really really busy with work, and on top of that I also had to help my mother clean out her room because besides the garage, this she was also moving things in her moving things in her room. One of the things that she wanted to get rid of was her king size bed. I originally posted it on Facebook and I was trying to sell it on Facebook and Craigslist, but it only got well like scamming kind of people. Like they didn't want to pay like with I thought it was a call some kind of check, but it was like kind of it could possibly a scam. Like it could have backfired on me, and they could have run away with a free king size bed. So I didn't went through it, and but eventually we found someone who would take it, who took the bed. So we was able to pack it up and get rid of that. And clear out my mother's room. On top of that, along with donating a lot of clothes, and some of the clothes we had to just throw away. Some of the clothes I actually give to for a thrift shop to thread up to sell. I didn't mention this, but later, but I did sell one or two clothes on that. But most of the things that I put on there to sell didn't sell. But I digress. Um, they could keep it or get rid of it or sell it, whatever. And I don't know what they plan to do with those. But but I was able to get rid of those. And so yeah, I didn't get much work done, but because I knew the truck was coming on a Saturday, I tried to, or yeah, it was Saturday, most likely Saturday or Sunday. I tried to get as much work done as possible before then. Working on projects, whatever project I was working on, the next one work on the Saturday, I pushed to work on Friday, and vice versa. On top of that, and so while I scrapped the other story, I decided to start working on the one of those stories I love stories stories I love. So I chose to decide to start working on Casper and Maddie's love story and give it a twist. So that was one of the stories I decided to work on, and I started doing the thumbnails of how I want the story to go. That's it. I think that's it for the week. Also, this is when I did the designing for the shoe. It was a very rushed design. I also started designing the shoe, and of course, I went for my favorite color, purple. The logo wasn't great, but the shoe design was cute. So at this point, I'm taking a lot of pauses on a lot of stories that has to do with a lot of world building. So I finally finished Necromancy Love Story, and of course, I have to do world building, which means I have to take a pause on this one too. So as I said, and I decided to also take a break on Dragon Kid because I'm getting to the point where this is the point where I also had to do, say with me, world building. Whenever I have to do a world building, I was like, I won't tell nobody. Anyway, so I need to get back on these, but I digress. Oh, and it's at this point where decided to start working on the world building so I could start doing my world building on my other stories. So I want to now I gotta think about it. How much books do I need of those? How much copies? Of my world building book. So yeah, I worked on it. I finished it. Spoilers for later in the future. So I still had to work on my world building book. So I was working on that and finishing that off. I think at some point I was trying to do a one that concentrate on culture, but I don't think I finished that one. But yeah, but I finished this one because it's on Canva, the generic one, not the one concentrating on the cultures. But yeah. Oh, so I forgot to mention at the top of my clothes, I also found shoes like my Dr. Martens. I also didn't where I put those, but I found those. So I have places to put my Dr. Martens. I found a place underneath my bed. What I didn't have space for was my other shoes, but thankfully my mother was kind enough to give me a space to put my shoes. So I didn't have to get rid of all my shoes. There was some that I did get rid of. I also donated those. The ones that I really didn't like or was like too small for my feet, I just donated those. Well, I didn't donate it. I give it to their shop, but I was hopefully they will sell it, but they didn't. Because they couldn't figure out the brand. So they didn't want to bother selling it. But to end the month was a terrible way to end the month because the end of the month is my sister's birthday, around the end of the month my sister's birthday, and I felt so bad because of. So that's all for the blog of May, and now next will be June. Person I don't want to down, well, two people, three, is my mother and my sisters, both of them. And I feel like I let her down on her birthday because of miscommunication or lack of communication because they went to work and we expect them to come home and then we go all out together to celebrate her birthday, to go to like a sip and paint. But that didn't happen. Instead, what happened was that we were supposed to meet them there, but it fell through. The reservations fell through. Fortunately, that wasn't a good thing. That was not like, oh, the reservation was so no loss there. No, it still felt terrible because even then we could have still been together and went somewhere else. But we did have to make it up to her because that was not good, and I felt terrible. I still feel terrible about it, letting her down. But yeah.